October the 8th, 2022. Guys, it looks like the powers that be are pushing us into Armageddon and World War III as fast as possible. What you're looking at is the longest bridge in Europe. It's 12 miles long. It connects Russia and Crimea. Direct attack. You're looking at two images here, and this one is much like a lot of bridges. You've got one bridge here that's for traffic, cars and trucks. The higher bridge is for trains. And there's a video there. I can't show it. It's copyrighted. And someone in a traffic cam was behind a few trucks, and something blew up on this section of the rail. It took it out. Now, we just had Nord Stream 1 and 2 taken out, and that supplies gas to Europe and Germany. And guys, when you think about the European Union, Germany is the leader there, okay? But again, this explosion happened this morning early. Something else happened. We'll get to that in just a second. Let's continue with this. According to Russian news agency TASS, an explosion occurred this morning on one of Putin's prestige projects in Europe's longest bridge. An object believed to be a fuel storage tank has caught fire on the Crimean bridge, but the viaduct's navigable arches sustained no damage. In other words, the pylons. You can see where the rail or the roadway was blown out, and it looks like the train section was on fire. They're saying that it's too early to speak about causes and consequences, but guys, do you know that this is a proxy war, and it has begun? And when I say proxy, I mean there are people behind Crimea here and in Europe that are behind all of this. Now, someone retaliated. We don't know what or who yet, but now Germany's northern section of trains has been shut down. Someone has cut all the communication lines for the conductors, the linemen, for the trains going back and forth. All of that's been shut down. So we've had two attacks basically focused at Germany. We've had this attack. We've got a war going on between Russia and Ukraine. And they're saying Ukraine is pushing into Russia, trying to take back some area. But if you've ever read The Art of War, then that's how you do this. You appear weak when you're at your strongest. You appear strong when you're at your weakest. And you can fall back and suck the enemy into a really bad situation very quickly. That, in my opinion, that's what we're seeing. There was also radar indications of the helicopter aircraft over the Nord Stream pipelines hovering before the explosions there. And you know who has been indicated in that. And whoever is doing this sabotage has no concern for human life whatsoever. This is the beginning, or let me say this, we are in the early stages of World War III. It says images from the bridge showed a fiercely burning fire engulfing at least two railway carriages from a train on the bridge, accompanied by a vast column of black smoke, and one half of the parallel road bridge collapsed. And this is the Kerch Strait. So, again, the images was correct. The roads have been blown out. The rail cars are on fire. The explosion, which witnesses said could be heard kilometers away, took place before 6 a.m. on Saturday while a train was crossing the bridge. It was not immediately clear what caused it. However, an advisor to the Ukrainian presidency appeared to suggest Kyiv's responsibility, tweeting, "Crimea, the bridge, the beginning, everything illegal must be destroyed. Everything stolen must be returned to Ukraine. Everything belonging to Russian occupation must be expelled. Damage to the road section of the bridge showed the carriageway appeared to have been cleanly severed with no obvious sign of a missile attack." Now, according to Telegraph, Russia's investigative committee said it had initiated a criminal case in connection with the incident on the Crimean bridge, adding that a truck was blown up, and you can see it in the video. Russia's National Anti-Terrorism Committee says a truck bomb caused 7 railroad cars carrying fuel to catch fire, resulting in a partial collapse of 2 sections of the bridge. The committee didn't immediately apportion blame. Now, I'm going to show you, I'm not going to show you this, it's copyrighted, but I'm going to link to this video here on Twitter. And again, it's like from behind someone's webcam coming down the highway, and then you see quarter mile up in front of it or so a major explosion, guys. And again, we'll link to that. The other problem we're having, also this morning, 7:20 a.m., breaking, sabotage, 2 communication lines, GSM-R cut in Germany, rail service in northern Germany suspended. Guys, that when you're dealing with Europe, there's a lot of people that travel by trains. A lot of supplies can go back and forth by these trains. But when we're looking at Germany now, we know that, again, they're basically the leadership of the European Union. NATO is involved with all of this. But if we look at what appears to be evidence around Nord Stream attacking the pipelines that supply Germany, did the same people do this? Are they in such a rush before November 8th, 1 month away now, to start something to stop that election? It looks like it to me. A lot of this is outside influence. And it is, again, making Russia look like the major enemy to Europe, to NATO, to all of Ukraine, and to the U.S., of course. Russia did it. Russia did it. We've heard it forever. Always the blame, always putting it on the bear. That bear's sick of it. But it seems that the satanic leadership of the rest of the world is hell-bent on this World War III and the destruction of most of mankind. It says 2 communication cables were cut at 2 different locations in Germany on Saturday. Sabotage is likely. Of course it is. This forced long-distance rail service is to be suspended entirely on Saturday in northern Germany. So again, look at the situation. Who would benefit from this? Would it anger Germany and Europe into provocation against Russia? Is Russia doing it to stop some type of movement, troop movement, military movement? Who knows? I'm sure we'll get more answers later in the day. It says the attack came after the Russian Nord Stream pipelines 1 and 2 were damaged last week in a massive explosion that shut down the gas pipelines to Germany and Europe. So far, no one has taken responsibility for the attack. The blast put Germany's economy in further turmoil as winter approaches and gas supplies are limited. Also, guys, trains carry grain and it's harvest time. What adds to that is now here in Mississippi, the Mississippi River is so low that hundreds of barges have been backed up right during the peak of harvest season. A lot of this grain is moved via the Mississippi River, the father of waters, down all the way, in some cases, to New Orleans, shipped into different areas of the world. But the navigation just below Vicksburg right now is in bad shape. The river's so low from months and months of drought that you just can't pass it. The Corps of Engineers out of Vicksburg is working now to try to alleviate some of that problem, to try to vacuum up basically a lot of that sand and silt and get things moving again. But as of yesterday morning, there were hundreds of barges backed up, again, on the Mississippi just below Vicksburg. I think it's called Stack Island. So there's a lot going on, a lot we're paying attention to, guys. But I think that powers here and in Europe that are all from the same seed, Satan seed, are pushing us to destruction. I hope you're ready. One thing about it, guys, let me say this. We are spiritual beings. We're not ordained, or we are not condemned to this physical body forever. Now, when you think about someone dying, whether it's you, your friends, your family, your pets, it's a terrible thing to think about. But if you believe in the afterlife and you believe in heaven and Christ, then if all the hell that Satan can throw at us happens, we will be freed into that eternal spiritual body if they continue this. So it's not just the destruction coming that you got to be prepared for. It's what happens after that. Are you ready? Are you treating others as you want to be treated? You know, that's one of the golden rules, regardless of all the Levitical laws and all of that. Christ said, treat your fellow man and woman, not verbatim, I'm not trying to be, as you would have them treat yourself. Bend down, help someone out. Not just to save your soul, but to show that you're human. Humanity, helping humanity, not humanity destroying humanity. And so, we all have a limited time here, right? So we can think of it two ways, terrible and sad, or freedom from this old, cracked shell that we live in this physical world, because we are spiritual, eternal beings. We're watching it, guys. You watch it. It's a heads up. Be safe.